Cool. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our 10th Hops in Harvest. We are partnering up with Harland Brewing right now. We've got Ryan, the head brewer, and Chef Carmine, and then, of course, Paige with the San Diego Brewers Guild. My name is Lindsey. I'm with MIHO Catering Company, and super excited to bring you this beer dinner. Paige, do you want to take it away?
Sure. So the San Diego Brewers Guild is a nonprofit trade association that works and advocates for all of the craft breweries in San Diego County. And we've had a really amazing time with these Hops and Harvest beer dinners with MIHO and getting to curate specialty menus and pairings has been really fun. We've been doing it since last fall. And we keep going. So it's great.
Yeah, and we really created this dinner series to bring joy to our community, to build community with the craft brewers in San Diego, and to really give people something to do in the middle of COVID when everyone was kind of staying at home and being safe. And I know things are opening up a little bit more and you can go to a brewery, which is fantastic news, I think, for everybody. We're loving that, but we're still doing these beer dinners. We have two more, right, Paige? We've got Border X coming up in 2 weeks, and then we're going to finish off the series with AleSmith. But yeah, let's get into our guests here. Carmine, you've met Carmine a handful of times now. She is our executive sous chef, and so she's the one that's coming up with all these amazing menus. We get the beers typically from the breweries. So Harlan gave us these beers, and then Chef Carmine will go through and create these amazing 4-course meals. And just a reminder to you guys, everything is served family style. So there are 2 portions in each container. You're going to want to go ahead and plate that, reheat it to your liking, and then share that. Be sure to put the beers in the fridge and keep them cool between each course, and just take your time. We will put timestamps in the bottom in the notes in the YouTube, just so you can see when we're talking about the first course, second course, third, fourth, and then a little Q&A at the end. Ryan, head brewer at Harland, how long have you been at Harland?
You have a guest.
Yeah. I've been at Harland since we started. So we were contract brewing actually in I think the end of 2018-ish, which Nick, our director of brewing operations, was kind of handling. And then I came on board in 2019, which was like our first year when I started when the brewery was actually, the production facility was finished. So I've been there since then. But yeah.
Cool. And where are you now?
So I'm at my house currently, but I live in a yurt, so it's not necessarily a house.
Oh.
Yeah, so I can kind of show you.
Yeah, take us on a tour.
Yeah. Did you build it?
Yeah. So me and my wife built this. So we live on a property in Escondido, so pretty good, awesome views.
Oh,
but
pretty.
this is kind of the outside of the yurt. I can kind of, there you go. It kind of looks like.
Wow. So you're really living the Harland core value, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're it.
I built my own house and come on, Cash, over here. Sorry, my dogs are trying to get out. Oh. But yeah, I love it. Me and my wife love it. We love camping, and it's really actually a lot. It's a tent-ish, you know? I don't know if you guys have ever camped in a yurt. Like, we actually discovered it. We got married near Big Sur, so we actually discovered these in Big Sur area. They have like resorts where you can like stay in these for the weekend and stuff like that. So
and then we stay warm?
Yeah, super warm. We have a heater in here and stuff, and then we have a ceiling fan for during the summer and all that. So yeah, it's pretty enjoyable.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's so fun how it really plays into the Harland brand. Can you tell us a little bit about the Harland brand and this labor of beer, like what that means?
Yeah, so to us, it's just, like working hard and, rewarding yourselves with something like a delicious beer. So, like getting outside, either working with your hands. I know we had some like ambassadors, like one of our good friends, Phil Esteban, who's a chef locally in San Diego. Mm-hmm. He was a kind of like, a perfect example of labor of beer, right? He loves drinking beer, but he also is constantly in the kitchen cooking and developing all kinds of he's doing a new restaurant concept. So just constantly always like evolving and kind of pushing himself, and then reward yourself with a beer after all that. So
I love that.
Yeah,
that's my favorite time to have.
Phil's the homie. Yeah. He's really good.
Yeah, we're doing a collaboration with him coming up. So we love Phil. So he's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. So before Harland, what's your brewing experience?
So I've been in the industry for a while. I think this is coming up on 9 years. So I started actually at Green Flash around, I want to say it was like end of 2010, early 2011, just as a keg washer. Worked my way up into the cellar, eventually as an assistant brewer, and then left there, went to St. Archer as a brewer. Eventually, I was there for 3 years, eventually became R&D brewer at St. Archer. And then eventually left that to go to Pure Project. And I was at Pure Project Brewing for about a year and a half, maybe a little bit longer. And then I got the opportunity to come on to Harland as the head brewer, which is my first head brewing gig. So I've been doing that since then. So pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's great. It's so awesome to hear the stories of starting at the bottom and ending up at the top, and all of the, we talk about the family tree of San Diego craft beer, and people moving around and mentoring and all of that. So it's really wonderful to hear those stories.
It's pretty crazy how many people I was just on the keg washing line or like on the bottling line with at Green Flash that are now either head brewers or running, like, I have friends that work at Freem up in Oregon, which is obviously like a world brewery. Multiple friends in San Diego that are running their own breweries. So it's pretty cool that we all started on the keg washing and side by side, and now there's all like pretty much head brewers, or at least we're at notable breweries that so just running shift brewing, but it's pretty awesome.
Is that a Craft Coast sweatshirt?
It is. Thanks, man. I love Craft Coast. I'm addicted to birria tacos.
Yeah, it's hard not to like that place.
I spend way too much money there frequently.
That's great. Well, do we want to head into the first course since we kind of gone the background on everyone?
Yeah, I do want to make a note of the fourth course. So a little bit about the beer. Unfortunately, we could not get the sour blonde for the fourth course, so we've replaced it, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. But what is the name of the beer?
Yeah, so unfortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances within the brewery on the production side, we had some issues with some equipment. So we are now switching it to Super Bloom, which is our collab for International Women's Beer Day, which I think is honestly, it's awesome cause. And then also, I think it's one of my favorite beers we've ever brewed so far, as far as like how hard it was to brew and how cool it is. But it's a sour IPA with Simcoe, Nelson, blueberry, and Meyer lemon. So 7% ABV. It's one of my favorite beers I think we've ever produced. So I'm excited for you guys.
Excited to hear about that pairing.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But let's start with the first beer, our Japanese lager. Can you tell us a little bit about that beer? Yeah,
so this is inspired by, so one of our brewers, Kenji, his parents are from Japan. He speaks and writes in Japanese, and he visits there every year. So through him, Nick and I have been able to get a lot of experience eating some amazing Japanese food. And with that, we're always drinking Orion, which is one of the more popular, but one of our more favorite beers from Japan. So this beer was kind of inspired by Orion, but kind of with our own little twist on it. So it's just a rice lager. But we actually found, I think when we were developing this recipe, BSG, which is one of the brewer supply group here in San Diego, they had just started offering puffed jasmine rice. So we kind of tried experimenting with that, and we loved it. So it's a Japanese lager with toasted rice and puffed jasmine rice. And the jasmine rice gives it these really cool floral, really awesome floral notes, and then kind of like softens up the entire profile of the beer. So it's just like a really drinkable Japanese lager. So
yum. And Carmine, what are we pairing that with?
We are serving the Yakitori pork belly. So we are marinating or curing our pork belly with our togarashi spice blend. So a little bit spicy. And then we're just going to, after that, we're just going to par cook it in the oven and then cut it up, skewer it up. And then served with a basil plum sauce. So that's great with the pairing of something floral, especially with the rice, because it's actually similar to like almost like a pesto that we incorporate some plum sauce to it, a little hoisin, a little umami to it. But we're grilling it over some charcoal over our in-house hibachi. So you'll get a little bit of that smoky flavor to that. So this is a really good pairing together.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, that does sound good. What did you say that spice blend was?
Oh, togarashi.
What is that?
It's like their chili pepper spice. So there's sesame seeds in there, like red pepper flakes.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Ryan, are you drinking? What are you drinking?
Yeah. I am actually drinking one, I think it's on the course, but it's our India Pale Whale.
Okay.
So we'll talk more about that when we get to it, but
We'll
sorry,
get
yes.
No, that's how we like to do it. That's perfect. That sounds like an amazing pairing. I like the Japanese lager, the puff jasmine rice flavors kind of pairing with that pork and that plum sauce. Great way to kick it off. And I know there are a handful of vegetarians that have ordered this menu. What is a vegetarian option for this one?
So we're going to do mushrooms. Same preparation with a togarashi spice, but we're just going to do some meaty shiitake mixed in with a little bit of portobello.
Yeah.
I also grew up in Japan, so
Oh, really?
I'm excited to try this lager. I don't speak, but I grew up out there. So yeah, I'm familiar with just, Japanese beer in general. It's crisp, clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Orion, out of all the different, obviously there's different brands of Japanese lager, but Orion is our house favorite. We pretty much we have a little mini fridge in our office, so we always keep stock of Orion for the crew. So after work beers.
And the first two courses are a couple of your core beers, right?
Yeah.
And second two, or the last two, we get a little bit more in that special release. So you can always see the Japanese lager, and then the second course, which is the Hazy IPA. I have the Hazy IPA here.
Ooh, lucky.
Yummy. Oops. Tell us a little bit about the Hazy, Ryan.
So this beer has kind of gone through a couple different transitions, kind of through just as a new brewery, figuring out hop contracts and hop usage. So I think it originally started out as a Nelson Southern Cross beer, but now this is Citra, Mosaic, and Azaka in this beer. So we love it. It's kind of on it's very hazy. And when we like our hazies pretty opaque. You can't see anything through them. They tend to finish a little bit sweeter than our West Coast IPAs. So you're going to find that that's kind of where the full bodiness of this beer comes from. But it's kind of a mixture of, it's not just necessarily like juice. It's kind of like a mixture of this like West Coast kind of dank on the nose, but then it kind of goes through like this tropical mouthfeel for us at least. So it's kind of a blend of those two worlds as far as the hop profile goes. But Azaka and Citra are super, just citrus forward, bright. Really nice, and then the Mosaic kind of adds in this like little layer of like kind of dank resinous hop character into it. So easily one of our favorite beers. Nick and I always kind of laugh that at the brewery we're always coming out with new beers, and so we don't drink our hazy beer that often at the brewery. But every time we go out for like a pint night or any kind of event like that, we always we have that because it's a core offering, and we're always kind of amazed at ourselves. We're like, wow, this is really good, and we you forget how good. In the news, you don't drink it all the time because we always have all the new stuff at the brewery. But yeah, this is easily one of our favorite hazies that we make, and it's a core offering, so it's pretty cool.
That's great. And you have 2 locations, right?
Yeah, so we have 2. We have right now we have Scripps, which is our main location where we actually brew, and then we have our one Paseo location, which is kind of like Del Mar Heights area, right off the right off the 5 right there. And then we're actually working on a 3rd location in Bay Park. So it's actually the old Benchmark satellite location. Recently. So we're working on that. And I think we're trying to open in like 2 weeks. So pretty soon here.
Oh, great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're really excited about that location. So we partner with Poseidon Project Pizza right now. So with all the COVID restrictions, they've been making pizzas at the Scripps Brewery this entire time. So it's pretty cool that during this, we kind of found a tasting room that's actually 2 doors down from their actual place in Bay Park. So now they're going to be offering pizzas too at our new Bay Park location. So really exciting.
Love that.
Oh, nice partnership.
Yeah, they become really good friends of ours too. Just through everything, like all the challenges come together, and they've been rallying and like showing up. When like it's unknown whether or not how many pizzas we're going to sell or how many people are going to show up. So it's pretty nice. So we're really excited.
That's great to hear the community coming together like that.
Staying flexible for sure.
Yep. Pivot, pirouette.
That's right. Carmine, give us a taste of that chicory kumquat.
Yes. So chicory kumquat, so a play with the citrus flavors. However, because chicory's quite bitter, so we have Treviso in there. We are adding Mizuna, peppery, a little bit of a bitter finish to that one, and then arugula, a little peppery as well. But the play on that one with bitter, citrus, like sour, a little bit of sweet. It'll go well with Cabanzola, which is like a blue cheese brie style, triple cream cheese. So it'll kind of calm like the bitterness that goes with it. But I think it's a great pairing. We're adding kumquats to it, and then a little bit of mango for sweetness. So yeah,
that'll go good with the tropical flavors.
Exactly what I was thinking is like the mango tropical and then the citrus, the bitterness. This sounds like a perfect pairing. And when we talk about pairings, we have kind of like the 3 C's that we go by, and that's going to be contrast, complement, and cleanse. And so this is definitely a complementary course. Fantastic. All right, now we get into the special releases in the 3rd course. So show us that beautiful can.
All right. So this is by far become one of my favorite beers. Oh, let me find the camera. There we go. So this is India Pale Ale. The name kind of came about. So at the brewery, we have a production system, which is 30 barrels. A barrel of beer is 2 full-size kegs. So we can make a batch of 60 plus full-size kegs based on our production system. And then we have a 5-barrel system as well that we kind of use as a pilot system and to feed the tasting rooms. So we're always looking for beers that we create on the pilot system that could, kind of blow us away or get us really excited, and then we can scale up. So this was actually one of them. And for us, we called it India Pale Ale because when we tried it, I don't know if whoever knows, but in the beer industry, like if something's rare or really, hard to find, it's called a whale. So for us, India Pale Ale, it was funny, but then also we were just like, this is a whale of an India Pale Ale because it's West Coast style. And we were kind of looking for our like a West Coast beer to like fit in our portfolio, and we don't have one right now. So if you look at our core beers, we have a Japanese lager, a hazy IPA, and Sunken Isles, which is an unfiltered West Coast. So we're actually going through a brewery expansion right now, and hopefully this will become our West Coast core beer soon. So right now we've just been brewing it as much as we can when we can. So it's almost always available, not quite. So we don't want to call it a core until it's, we're able to keep up production and have it on all the time and distribute to everyone we already do with our core beers and have them not run out of beer, right? But it is kind of a mix of new and old. So I hopped it with Simcoe and Chinook, which is kind of, a little bit older school hops, especially for like a West Coast, but more traditional. But then I threw in a solid amount of Mosaic Cryo into that. So it's kind of got that like old school West Coast, but then it has this really bright tropicalness from the Mosaic Cryo that, I don't know, to me, it's one of my favorite beers. We went for a lower ABV, so it's pretty clear too. We went for a 6% ABV. I, for one, kind of only have like 1 drinking speed, so I like my beers to be lower ABVs, even with IPAs. So when they're at like that 7.5 point, I'm just not really into it as much as I am when they're 6. So yeah, I think it's just a really well-balanced beer. It got us excited just as far as like, finding this West Coast IPA that kind of stands out, especially in San Diego. So we think for us that this might be it. So this is going to be, right now it's a seasonal kind of like occasional option, but eventually hopefully it will be a core beer for us. But easily one of my favorite beers right now. This is my go-to at the brewery all day. So.
Can you explain a little bit more about cryo hops for people who don't know what that means?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so within hops, when you're using hops, it's like any other organic, and like any other product. I don't know if you guys know what hops look like. They're little look like flowers. So all that vegetal matter though is in with the hops. So they get kilned and then we use them, but it has all the vegetal and then it also has all the good essential oils and all the lupulin inside of them. So basically what cryo is they extract all the good aromatics and flavor profiles and oils from these hops, and they leave behind all the vegetal matter. So when we get them, it's actually a powder, but they now pelletize them so we can use them like regular hops. But when you dry hop, you're basically not getting any of that vegetalness or any of that, like organic matter. You're just getting straight oils, resins, all the lupulin, all the good stuff out of the cryo. So for one reason breweries might use it is to up their efficiencies. But for us, it's just the aromatics that come off the Mosaic cryo. It's like Mosaic on steroids, basically.
And it's a newer technology, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a lot more expensive than a regular hop, obviously, because, by weight, you're not really getting any of that organic matter in the way that they process these, which I'm actually not 100% sure how they process them, but I'd imagine there's a significant amount of loss compared to processing like regular. So they're even like more than double the cost per pound of regular hops. But, using them appropriately, I think it's like definitely worth it. And and it's for us, we're coming out with some amazing beers with cryo. So we're really excited.
Awesome. And I had another question. You mentioned that you have the pilot system. So pilot beers, do you have those at both of your locations or eventually at your third location, or are your pilot system beers mostly just at your production facility? Like, how do people try those ones out?
So it's kind of hard with us because it just depends on the beer. A lot of our sour beers tend to be really, really popular. And because we only have, so basically all of our bigger tanks are dedicated to core production. So the smaller tanks we have are only 10 barrels, which yields about 60 cases of beer and like maybe 2 kegs of draft by the time we're done with that. So they do sell out really, really fast. It just kind of depends on the beer. So we try to get these to all locations. And we've been trying to figure out exactly how we're gonna do that. Right now, it's kind of hit or miss depending on the beer. You just kind of check out our Instagram and keep up to date with that. You can check on Untapped, I believe, and you can call, even just call ahead. But we're pretty good on our Instagram about updating like whether or not something's sold out or not. And I've been trying to fill these tanks up to the brim every single time just to make sure we get draft available, which we have been getting. So yeah, like right now, the specialty releases, I have been getting enough for bare minimum. You can't get cans. You can get them on draft in the tasting room. And then we've been limiting those, to like 1 pour per person. So that way everyone gets a chance to try it. So it just kind of depends on the beer though. Some of them are more popular than others.
So keep up on these specialty beers. Instagram seems to be the best way to do it. Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And Carmine, what are we pairing this beer with?
All right, third course, we have a roasted whitefish, and our whitefish will be local mahi-mahi. With the local mahi-mahi, we're going to be marinating it in a chakathang thing, sorry if I'm like butchering it up. It's the Thai dipping sauce, or like a fish sauce, very similar to the Vietnamese nuoc cham. So it's, salty from the fish sauce, sour from lime juice, sweet with sugar, but packs a little bit of a punch because we are putting some red Thai chili pepper in there. So we're going to marinate that. And because mahi-mahi is mild with a little bit of a sweetness to it, but it will soak up that marinade quite well. But with the play on the flavors of it, tropical, a little bit of bitterness. I am using some bitter vegetables in there, rapini, and but once you cook rapini, once you blanch it, it does remove a little bit of the bitterness away. So nice meaty vegetables. We are adding some grilled romanesco in there, which is the green cauliflower. Peewee potatoes. We'll add a little bit of creamy finish to it, but very simple. Sugar snap peas for freshness. But the topper on it will be a charred green onion and papita chutney. And that one will have some rice wine vinegar, some soy sauce. So you'll have a little bit of like umami finish to that one. But I think this one with the pale ale, I think it's just going to be very clean finish to it. Very simple dish, but I think it's a great pairing.
It sounds like there's going to be some spice that the IPA is going to be able to cut down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We'll mellow it out.
Yeah.
And what is rapini?
Rapini, it looks like baby broccoli, also known as broccoli rabe. So it's kind of a very leafy, very similar to almost like broccolini, but often used in Italian cooking, but great, you know, as a vegetable. But if you puree it, it's really nice. Again, it is bitter, raw, but once you cook it, it does tone down.
Sounds delicious.
Yum. All right, Ryan, let's get into this fourth course. And so this is the new beer. It's not the strawberry lemonade sour, but we're curious to know more about the strawberry sour and then talk about the Super Bloom.
Cool. Yeah. So the strawberry sour, we just had like mechanical issues at the brewery. So unfortunately that one won't be ready, but it is it's actually part of our fluff series. So our fluff series is a sour beer, and then it always has marshmallow fluff, and then everything else is kind of be whatever. So we've done, like during Thanksgiving, we did cranberry fluff, which was cranberry, cinnamon, I should remember, it was cranberry, cinnamon.
Do you have more of that?
Yeah. No, we don't. We'll probably make it again. For this one, anyways, we were thinking springtime, so we were like, oh, strawberry lemonade. So it was gonna be strawberry, Meyer lemon, and then marshmallow fluff.
Cool.
But unfortunately, that one won't be ready. It had to get pushed a week. So I'm actually really excited though, because now you guys get to try this one, which is Super Bloom. So this one's actually getting released this week. It was going to get released this week anyways with the strawberry lemonade fluff. But recently we've been trying to work and do collaborations with people who aren't necessarily breweries. So like I said, we had a collab coming up with Phil Esteban. We have like his new project, Open Gym. We've kind of been like looking around, but since it's International Women's Day coming up, we decided to partner with a women-owned business, which was Native Poppy. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, but they have it's a flower shop. They have one on Cedros in Solana Beach, and I think it's South Park.
Oh, we know. I spent
Okay, cool.
She did my flowers for my wedding, so I definitely.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So
beautiful stuff.
She didn't really know a ton about beer, but she was like, hell yeah, I want to partner up. So, so we decided to brew a really cool sour beer. Actually, we've been having fun with the sour IPAs lately. I love that style. It's kind of like a balance of sweet, tart, and bitter. So this one, though, was kind of scary because we did want to use some kind of like floral component since it is a flower shop. And we decided on lavender, which can be very overpowering and potentially soapy. And I had never used any kind of herb, so it was very hard to like kind of figure out what a starting point would even be. So we did some trials, but we came up with basically we did 2 batches that go together. So there are 2 5-barrel batches to make 10 barrels. So we did, between the 2 was a total of 12 pounds of fresh organic lavender. Wow. Steeped in the whirlpool at the end. And then we dry hopped it with Simcoe and Nelson, kind of to complement the blueberry and the Meyer lemon that we were going to be added. So yeah, so it's Simcoe, Nelson, lavender, blueberry, and Meyer lemon. But I'm really excited about how this turned out. I think it's like the perfect amount of lavender. You can taste it, but it's not overpowering. Doesn't get soapy by any means or anything like that, which can happen with these herbs and stuff. But it came out a really awesome color. I'll show you guys. So.
Whoa!
Oh, beautiful.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So from the blueberries, it's pretty purple, very like blueberry-ish color. But on the nose, it's like almost like lavender tea. So it's like kind of a subdued lavender. And the Meyer lemon is pretty floral as well, compared to just a normal lemon. And then the blueberry just kind of complements. So this is easily probably one of my favorite beers we've ever made. I love lavender. And yeah, I'm really excited for everyone to try it. And then I think our graphic designer killed the logo. So it's got the Native Poppy logo on there, and it's got some lavender on the bottom and some Meyer lemon and all that. So it's a really cool, really exciting beer. So we're really excited for this one.
I love it. Great. And even though we're not pairing the dessert with this beer, I feel like we can get away with this. I think the berries in the strawberries and cream and the blueberries, like there's gonna be some flavor hooks there.
The lavender is super, I think it's good for a finishing dish too, because the lavender, no matter what you pair it with, I think it's kind of that nightcap vibe, as far as like relaxation. And, you know, a lot of people use lavender, like essential oils and stuff like that for like their pillows or, you know, their little room sprays and stuff. So I think it's like perfect for nightcap stuff, perfect for dessert pairing.
Putting us to bed.
Nice. That's a good looking color.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be aesthetically pleasing, like putting that beer right next to the dessert. We're serving strawberries and cream. Very simple, very basic. But though, again, as we said, it's paired with a different beer, but it still works. We are marinating the strawberries with passion fruit. So there is going to be a little bit of sourness to it, but sweetness packs a little bit of a punch. However, again, you got to have cream with your strawberries. So we're doing some whipped mascarpone. So it's sweetened, but I think it'll just mellow out any of that, you know, little like sour that you get at the end. But simple with some buttermilk biscuits. You can't go wrong with that one. Berries, biscuit, and cream. I think it'll be great. And I think the lavender will just be a nice finish to the end. And then we have some micro basil, and strawberries are a great match together. So yeah, I'm excited to try it.
Yum. And sometimes the most simple dishes are the best. And house-made biscuits, we make everything in-house at MIHO, and our biscuits are amazing. So you're definitely in for a treat there.
I think the pairing completely works still too, to be honest. I think everything, all those are, when you were talking about 3 C's, those are very complementary flavors. So.
Well, I think that wraps up everything. Thank you all for joining us, and Chef Carmine for going into those dishes. And Ryan, thank you so much for talking to us about those beers. Super excited to get those delivered to my house Friday. And thank you, Paige. Appreciate you and your time and all your energy that you put towards this Hops and Harvest. And then, of course, all of our ticket buyers, thank you for supporting. I know there are a handful of you that have done every Hops and Harvest dinner. So we really appreciate your support and you sticking with it.
Yeah, and follow the Brewers Guild at FD Brewers on Instagram, MIHO Catering Co. On Instagram, and Harland Beer, right? Ryan, is that the IG account? And for all the latest news and initiatives and programs that the 3 of us have going on. And again, I'd like to echo what Lindsey just said about how appreciative we are of all of the ticket buyers for supporting local by supporting the guilds and the breweries and a local catering company during everything. And we couldn't do this without you. So we appreciate you and hope you enjoy this meal, and to see you soon.
Cheers. Enjoy.
Cheers, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.